Everyone, we're live. Listen, it is Thursday. It is Thursday, my friends. Whew. It was a good night. It was a good night at work last night. Ah, it was a good night. Oh, we had so much fun. Um, it was a good night. But I was talking to someone the other day, and they said to me, "Oh, I just got to figure out how I'm gonna do it." And it triggered today. You do not need to figure out how. You do not need to figure out how. How happens naturally. Your job is to define what you want, not how you want it. That's not our role. If I say to myself, I want to plant a garden. How am I going to plant a garden? Come on, we know how to plant a garden, do we not? The moment you decide what you want to do, how naturally unfolds. If you say, "Whoo, child, I am so hungry." How do you deal with hunger? Well, we eat naturally. Oh, I'm so tired. Yawn, yawn, stretch. I wonder what I'll do. I wonder how I'll deal with my tiredness. You rest naturally. If you do not have a job, naturally, what does one do? Look for one. But you see, now here's where we get it. Naturally, we look. Naturally, we look for that which is lost, right? But when you choose the type of job, you narrow down your scope. When you narrow down the scope, it's quite like the disciples when they were out fishing and didn't catch anything. But Jesus was like, "Oh, you didn't catch anything? You gotta throw that net on the other side of the boat." What? To throw your net on the other side of the boat is to determine what you want. They wanted to catch fish. This is the story. But psychologically, how does one apply it? You look at the situation, they were doing one thing on the other side. They just are out here. Might as well catch some fish. Well, how are we gonna do this? Gotta make sure the nets work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, define the objective. What is it that you want to experience? That is what we do naturally. You say, "Whoo, I'm in the mood for raspberries or peaches." What do? Well, you either plant them or you go get them, do you not? But you have decided what you wanted and you went and did it naturally. Why do people go to the liquor store? Hmm. They don't figure out how. They just say, I need me a drink. I'm looking to chill out. I'm looking to relax. And that's the way they do it. That's the way that they do it. So instead of trying to figure out how to mend relationships, instead of trying to figure out how, define the relationship. You see, but in order for us to define what we want to experience, you have to be in the mood of it. Oy vey. You've got to be in the mood of the thing you want to experience, and then naturally, you will follow the inclinations to act. The how always unfolds without your provocation. You do not have to force how or figure out how. Decide what. Decide what you want to experience. This is the shortcut to life. Well, I shouldn't call it a shortcut. Because if I tell you a shortcut, you're going to think you're cheating and think, oh my God, I can't do it that way. No, naturally, we do what we feel. The how is, if you want to put it this way, the how is the polarity. How is polarity? Why? Because you're in one position right now. You're in one place right now, and you want to move to the other side of where you're at. So in order to move from where you are to where you are going, the mood has to change, and then you will be inspired to do something naturally. See, this is how we live naturally. And because we think that uh, we go out there and we make it happen, we think that's what we're doing, that we go out and we make it happen. We do not go out and make anything happen. It is the mood that we are in that governs the thoughts, that governs the words, then that govern the actions. It is as simple as that. But because we do not see our corresponding mood to our actions, we are disconnected from them. We have disconnected the mood from the action. But I'll tell you the only time that we haven't been disconnected from it. I'll do it this way. Right? That's the only time we're not disconnected from the mood and the action. Oh, we are keenly aware of that mood and the corresponding action. You see? We are keenly aware of the mood of let's get it on. We are keenly aware of the mood and the corresponding action. Whether we are assisted or unassisted, we are keenly aware of the mood that makes us act in a particular way. Now it's beginning to make a little bit more sense. Expand from there, come up from there. As above, so below, right? We're below right now when we talk about let's get it on, right? We're below right now in the body. Bring it up to your awareness. What are you aware of when that song plays or Barry White plays or Teddy Pendergrass? You know, all this slow jams or genuine, right? You see what we become aware of? We don't know how we gonna make it happen. We just know it's gonna happen. As I said, assisted or unassisted, we just know how it's going to happen because it has to happen in the only way that it can. Mood, action. The how is the space in between, which is determined by the mood. How we act is determined by our mood. So you do not have to figure out how your life is going to unfold. Just decide the type of life. When you decide the type of life, oh, but Angela, that seems so mysterious. No, it's not. Let's break it down some more. If we tend to cuss and hoot and holler and complain a lot, is that not always associated with the life of one who is miserable? I mean, I'm just asking for the observation. Hmm? Think about that for a moment. If all we do is complain and bitch and moan and carry on about, if that is all we do, then is there not an accompaniment of misery? Look at it and you'll see. you clearly can see how their lives are unfolding. It is the mood. If you can get nothing else but that today, where you are uh, triggered as you go through the day to watch your mood. When you can catch your mood, you become a prophet. Oh, how do you become a prophet? Easy. Whatever mood you are in is going to be reflected in your actions. But in between the action and the mood are the thoughts and the words. The thoughts and the words. People say, well, I don't know where my thoughts come from. They come from the mood, right? They come from the mood. If we walk around in a mood of jealousy, we begin to think, oh man, I'm not as good as they are. How come they always get the promotions? How come they're always better? Oh, and then that jealousy will make you feel how? Inadequate. And when you feel inadequate, how do you treat the other person? Mm. I mean, you treat the other person as if they're somehow, and you're mad at them and they're somehow better than you, and you can't have that happen. They can't outshine you. Oh, what do we start doing? Look at it. But you know what we lose sight of? We lose sight of the fact that we are in a mood of jealousy is what we've lost way back there. We just think that we are somehow, running on something that we can't see. But it's the mood of jealousy that causes us to act a fool. We forget ourselves in the pain of jealousy because then we act according to jealousy. Oh, we do. If you're insecure, how will you possibly behave? In the only way that you can. You don't want anybody to see you. You try and make yourself as small as possible. Oh, but what if they laugh at me? What if they don't like me? What if they judge me? Mm. You see that mood? Then look at how you behave, because the behavior, which is your action, is following the mood. And so then naturally you cower in the corner. Not because sometimes that you're afraid, but that insecurity that says, oh, you might not be as good as them. You can hear your mother's voice in the back of your head. You can hear your father's voice in the back of your head. That'll remind me to tell you a story. You can hear your grandmother's voice, your grandfather's voice, depending on what that mood is. That's the voice you will hear. You see, we cannot stop being aware of our existence. You go to sleep, you are aware. You wake up, you are aware. You go to the party, you are aware. You cuss your neighbor out, you are aware. You hug your puppy, you hug your child, you kiss your man, you are aware. You cannot stop being aware, which means that as you are aware, thus you think, speak, feel, act. That's it. Okay? That's it. But the disconnect happens when we are unaware of our present mood. And here's the thing. It's not that you are not aware of your mood. You do not see the correspondence between the mood and your life. You don't see it. Not because you're not looking for it. You just don't know. But now you know. So the next time you have something to do, It is not a matter of how you are going to do it. How is not waiting for you. How emerges from you because of what you decide to be. Go back to Barry White. Go back to Barry White. See the mood? The mood that you are keenly aware of is what causes you to act. And how you act depends upon the intensity of the mood. Remember, rhythm compensates. So if you're hot, 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 how are you feeling? Hot, hot, hot. If you're feeling that way, see that intensity? Well, then that determines how you will act. So here we are trying to figure out how to have a better life. Have a better mood, you'll have a better life. But you don't have a mood for 2 minutes. You do not have a mood for 2 minutes. We have a mood habitually. There is a mood that we always go back to. Can you spot yours? There's a mood that we always go back to. Each one of us has our own. And it did not get there by coincidence. It got there through practice, whether deliberately practiced or, well, unwittingly practiced. See? How emerges naturally. This is why we get frustrated when we can't figure out how to do something. We are waiting for something to happen when we have not chosen what to do. Remember the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. But in order for an effect to happen, it needs a cause. How is an effect? And an effect cannot happen randomly or out of the blue. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? Does not happen out of the blue. It happens because you have to choose. What you choose will determine how you behave in the world and how your life expresses itself. Now, this is a generality. Listen, my father is with me. Here's a very cool story that happened to me last night. My father is always with me. I didn't speak to him yet this week, but I got to call him. Listen, this man is always with me. My son wanted goldfish. And I went down the main aisle and they didn't have that one in the size. They had it in the big, big size, but you can't close it back. But what he wanted, I couldn't find. So I went to look for something for myself. And as I was on my way back, something caught my eye. I looked down and it was the only bag in the size that he wanted and the flavor that he wanted. So I'm on the phone with him, on Discord with him, as I'm in the store looking for what he wants. And I bent down to pick it up and I said, "You are one lucky son of a gun." That's what I said, it just like that. And as I got up, I heard from my left, I have not heard that phrase in over 50 years. "You must be from Barbados." Now I turn around and I said to myself, "What now?" I turn around and there's this white man. And he said to me, "I have not heard that phrase in 50 years. You have got to be from Barbados." And I said to him, "Ah," I said, "Yes, I am. How do you know that?" He looks at me and goes, "I'm psychic." And of course we laugh. And he says to me, "I'm not. It's just that in Cape Breton and Newfoundland, no, Nova Scotia. He says, I used to work with Barbadian men who would go mining, and the mines were underwater, underground, underwater, under the Atlantic Ocean. He would go mining, or he worked at the steel plant with men from Barbados. And he said that's where he heard that phrase. Lucky son of a gun. Now, why is that? Because I was looking for something for my boy, what he wanted. And my father, every time he sees Noah, he says, you're and I'm saying it to you. If you heard my father say it, we say it the same way because I imitate my father. He goes, you're a lucky son of a gun. And I'm like, what? And when I tell you he's always with me in the back of my mind, he's always in my thoughts because my father has a particular mood when he walks, when he talks. Some would say my father is simple. I say, nah, he's just not complicated by the things of the world. He's just so laid back and easygoing, and he laughs so easily. And his smile just lights up the room, you know? This is why people like him, because he's so laid back and easygoing, right? And they think they can fool him. My father may play the fool's part, but he's quite smart, quite wise, that one. You can't really pull a fast one on him. And so when I'm walking and I'm going somewhere, that's the same mood I tend to be in. The same one that he's in, because that's the predominant mood I've seen my whole life was from him. Just happy-go-lucky. That's what he is. And so those phrases tend to go along with what he is and the mood that he's in. So that mood, that man seems random. He seems like he came out of nowhere. He seems like he came out of nowhere. But he didn't. He came at me because I called him. How did I call him? Remember, I work at the liquor store. And Mount Gay is always on my mind. It's on the top shelf. I was already in the mood of Barbados. I just was. That was the mood I was in. And so he showed up. He was there because I was there. I would not have encountered him to such a degree if it were not my mood. So I'm telling you that story as it happened to me last night. Okay? Because I want you to pay attention to what you've got going on and what you experience in your world. Right? People say, you're so lucky. Eh? Really? Sure, if that's what you believe. But there is no such thing as luck. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Nothing is unknown. It may just not be in your present awareness, but it is not unknown. So you don't have to figure out how. Listen, what purpose did he serve in my life last night? Hmm? Listen, he was so, and he walked with a cane, you know, his surreal, I'm gonna say it. He had his gangster lean right on his cane. He was absolutely hilarious, this man. I don't know his name. I have no idea his name. And he leaned into me. He says, when I was growing up, everybody was equal. And now everybody thinks that they're better or they're worse. He goes, I just want that equality. We're all the same. black or white, and he's saying to me, I just loved the people from Barbados. And he goes, and then I meet you. Come on. Coincidence? No such thing. No such thing. And he fist bumped me as I left. Like, he was just a cool cat. But the point that I'm trying to convey to you is that was the mood I was in. I was feeling kind of nostalgic, because it's the way it is. I was just feeling kind of nostalgic. And then when I found listen, it was the only bag of goldfish in that end display. The only one. All of them were green, but he wanted the cheddar, right? And it was the only bag. So I was prompted to say, you lucky son of a gun. And it's like he just materialized out of nowhere. So why did he show up? He showed up because that was my mood. So what mood are you leaving the house in? The mood you leave the house in determines the people you meet. So if you're leaving the house and you've got ideas churning in the back of your mind, and you are putting the pieces together of something, and you're so excited about it, well, coincidentally, you're going to meet somebody who's on the same wavelength as you. So the people that you need to meet, the doors you need to be opened will come because of the mood you're in. If you are in a mood of frustration, man, I can't figure this shit out. I just can't figure it out. I don't know how this is gonna go. You are in a state or a mood of frustration, agitation. And if you are in a mood of frustration or agitation, what do you possibly think you will encounter? You can only encounter that which you already are. As within, so without. The principle of correspondence. Right? I'll tell y'all another story soon, but I ain't ready yet. I'm not ready yet, but I'll tell it to you another day. We, as Neville Goddard says, are the operant power. The operant power, Dr. Joseph Murphy, he said, you are the captain of your ship. Whether it would be the Titanic, whether it would be the Starship Enterprise, you are the captain of your ship. You. As within, so without. There's always somebody in the bottom. Scotty. Aye, Captain, right? He's in the bottom saying, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. That's the subconscious mind. The type of captain he was, Captain Kirk, is reflected in the crew. The type of captain he was is reflected in the crew. You said, but Angela, that's just a show. Is it? I'm not talking about the show because you could read something into it. I'm showing you that we only live by principle. So he was a risk taker. He had the ingenuity. But then he always had spark with the logic. So you see the contrast between the man of the senses and the man of imagination. The man of senses goes with logic. He sees, he calculates, and he goes with logic. But the man of imagination sees, he tests, he does this, but there's a gut feeling. There's just a particular knowing. He sees something that he can't quite explain. He's no longer going by logic, because if you go by logic, you're limited because logic only goes so far based upon what you presently know. But the intuition, the imagination, does what? It reaches beyond. It reaches beyond anything that is presently, it's not chartered already. It is unchartered. But you can get there if you imagine. So we have to stop taking the imagination for granted. We think, oh, look, we're playing dress up. We're having imaginary tea. No, you're not having imaginary tea. Look at the mood of the child. The mood of the child is carefree. Oh man, I gotta pretend I'm having tea because I don't want to disappoint my child. You think they can't feel that? Hmm? The imagination is there to make you go somewhere you've not gone before. It gets you to see what is possible. And if you can see it, it is possible. But you see where we get hung up? If you say, look, I need to open up this business, but I ain't got no money. I don't even know how I'm going to make it happen. I don't know anybody with connections. That is the man of logic. That is the man of reason. That is the man of the senses. He's telling you your bank account. He's telling you you don't have any connections. That's logic because it's based upon your senses. You're looking out into the world and you see what you see. But the man of imagination says, wait a minute. I have an idea. He's put the principle of gender into action. He generated an idea and he said, ooh, I want to have a business that does this, 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 and this. And I want it located here. And he sits down and he says, okay, if I had this business, I'd be filling a niche, you know. There's nobody else who's doing what I'm doing. This is a real opportunity. And as he's sitting there and he says, this is a real opportunity, his heart rate starts to elevate. He gets excited. He says, this, by golly George, this is a great idea. And he starts to see it in his mind's eye. And he says, yes, definitely. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I just know that I can see it. Well, let me get it as clear as I can. The next natural step from there is let me build a business plan because I got to get this thought out of my head on paper. This is the principle of gender. He came up with an idea, and now he's got to impregnate something with the idea. The business plan is the womb. He's got to impregnate the business plan with his idea. Why? Because that which you impregnate brings life back. So this is why clarity, not frustration as into how. Clarity, just get clear about what you want to experience in your world. Get clear about it. Some people write it down. Some people record it. Some people sketch it. Some people paint it. Some people dance it out. Some people sing it out. But whatever way is yours, that's what you are mentally impregnating with your idea. And as you mentally impregnate yourself with that idea, now you become like a broody hen. You sit on it and you give it life. You keep it warm. That's what you're doing with your idea. You're making it percolate. Right? When you're just sitting on it, it seems like you're idle. To the outside world, it seems like you're doing nothing. But that is not the case. In your mind's eye, like Nikola Tesla said, he works out every kink. He works out every bug. He works out every problem in his mind's eye from his machinery. I mean, he fires up that machine and it goes, "Burger, burger, burger, burger," gut, and it stops. He goes, "Man, what's wrong?" He takes it apart. He puts it together again, "Wugga, wugga, 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 wugga," and it starts. And he says, "Ah, I got it." And in his mind's eye, it runs. And it is flawless. Because he spent the time in his mind's eye working it out down to the very last detail. He worked it out. And because he worked it out there, well, then the only other thing to do is to recreate it from his mind's eye flawlessly now, because he's already done the work. He has already done the work. But you see, what we try to do is build it without a blueprint. Build it and we don't even know what we're doing. We're just slapping things together and hoping for the best. So when you take the time to clearly define the parameters of what you want to experience in life, now you can remain faithful to the feeling. Well, you have this idea in the back of your mind and it fires you up, does it not? Oh, it's got you all fired up and you feel so good. And when you feel really good about it, you stay in the presence of that thing and you flesh it out. Listen to the word. People usually say flush it out. But the actual term I do believe is flesh it out. Flesh it out. Listen to it. You flesh it out. If you're going to flesh something out, are you not giving it life and form? Well, that is what flesh is it not? Life and form. So you're taking it from the imaginary and you're embodying it. You're giving it flesh. You are doing what? Creating it in your image. Oh, that's what you're doing. That is what you are doing. But to breathe life into it the same way, allegedly, God breathed life into the nostrils of man, you breathe life into your vision. How does one breathe life into a vision? By believing that what they just spent all of this time creating in their mind's eye, that is imaginary, by believing it is possible. Why else would you invest so much time in something if you didn't think it was one, worthy or possible? Nobody wastes time. Nobody does. You don't just cook a whole pot of food and go, ugh, and throw it away. Nobody does that. The thing that you have just generated in your mind's eye, if you would believe in it, that is the moment when sperm meets egg. The moment that you believe in the imaginary thing you just created, you have just impregnated and fertilized that vision, that dream. And every vision has its appointed hour. It will ripen, it will flower. If it be long, wait. It is sure it will not be late. Habakkuk 2, verse 3. So the type of vision, the bigger the vision, the more intensity required. Well, of course, the smaller the vision, less intensity required, because it has to match. But this is why I don't like to judge by size. No, because to you it may seem small and insignificant. To me, it's the whole world. So size is a matter of perception. What does your vision mean to you? That is the type of life you breathe into it. What does it mean to you? And then what it means to you, because that is rhythm, that is the intensity, what it means to you, and you believe in it. You see, with the same level of belief in it, that is what brings it about. It has to, as within, so without. And you are passionate about it. I tell you, you will accomplish that thing in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Indeed, you will. Indeed. So, if you are going to put the time into the mental work, if you are going to put the time into your mental work, let your mental work be worth it. Which means what? Do not waste your time imagining the unlovely. In other words, let's say it this way. If you have a vision, something you want to accomplish in your mind's eye, allow it to overtake you. Allow it to consume you. Oh, consume? Yes. Here's the example. Moses on the Mount Sinai encountered a burning bush. But the bush was burning and yet it was not consumed. Your vision does exactly the same thing. It burns, but it does not consume you in the way that something wastes away or eats away at you. Your vision, as it burns, it gives you life. So allow your vision to give you life. Allow it to fuel you. Allow it to empower you, because that is its mutual benefit. It does not take from you and leave you decrepit. It empowers you. It strengthens you. It gives you the power. I have the power. If you know what I'm talking about. He-Man or She-Ra, whichever way you roll, baby. Your vision gives you power. It gives you the power so that you will keep your attention on it. And as you keep your attention on it, the effect, which is the how, unfolds. You go somewhere and you were sitting here thinking, well, I needed this money. I needed these things. And here they are. So let me explain to you why Nikola Tesla did such phenomenal things, but had no money. Go back in his life. He was not the only inventor in his family. Not only was his mother, his brother, his father, listen, the whole family, the whole lot of them were all inventors. But his father deemed Nikola the worst. This man just gave us alternating current. This man gave us the technology for everything we use on the planet, and he was the worst inventor of the family. But that was his Achilles heel. That's what he felt he was. And because he felt he was, this is why those rich men of the time took advantage of him. Oh, he knew he was talented. He knew he was. How could he not? He knew he was, but there was something in the back of his mind all the time that held him. It had him in its thrall. I'm not as good as the rest of them. Cause and effect. So if that is what he can do, right? Why did he excel in the work? He excelled in the work because he loved the work. The work, doing the work fueled him. So doing the work has, see, the intensity of him loving and doing the work showed up in what he gave us, what he left for us, right? That's the intensity of it. But the fact that people took it and gave him, nobody even really knew who he was. Nobody knew who he was. But what we do in life echoes in eternity. And here we are living his echo. We are living his echo. So you see, allow yourself to be consumed, because now you know what the word that now you know what it means. Not the world's standard of consumed, because we all know that consumption is a bad thing, right? You can't call it bad or good, but you know what I'm saying. When we allow our vision to fuel us, to propel us forward, your belief in the dream keeps it alive. And when the dream is alive, it feeds you so you can keep feeding it. It is a symbiotic relationship, not parasitic. But you see where the thoughts become parasitic? When you allow something to eat away at you. You want to do it, but you're hung up on how. Now, what is meant to be symbiotic has become parasitic. All in the twinkling of an eye. It's just that quick. Because it's only a degree that separates the two of them. Parasitic or symbiotic. They're one and the same. They're both something. They're both something foreign to the body. They both require a host. One feeds and fuels the host. The other consumes the host. But they are one and the same because they require a host. So what will you allow your dream to become? A parasite where it haunts you and eats you up alive because you cannot figure out how to do it? Or will you allow it to be symbiotic? Meaning, just determine what you want it to be. What experience do you want out of life? That's how you're going to make this thing symbiotic. Oh my God, I'm so late. Anyway, let's welcome everyone into the space, shall we? Oh, it's symmetric. Hey, girl. I see you kicking it with us here on Twitter. It is so good to see you. It really is. Who's here in these YouTube streets? Carla, Liz, Brianna. Ah, Sophia. Welcome to the space. How good and pleasant it is to see you. Fanbase, who is kicking it with us today. Oh, um, everything Chris? Hey. Oh, beloved. Uh, well, okay. Let me see if I can say your name. Ajavonia? Look, I just want to get it right. You tell me how to say it and I'll say it. Oh, hello, Moon. KZ, Ray Ray, Oracle Treehouse. Hello, Surreal. Miss McQueen. It is so good to see all of you here on Fanbase this morning. Listen, Linda. Let me tell you, you come away with this thing today. You make sure, because I saw it flash on my screen there. Somebody just quoted it, either be parasitic or symbiotic. Choose. When scripture, Deuteronomy 28, tells you to choose. I put before you life and death. They're one and the same. Oh, you doubt that life and death are the same? They're both stages of existence. That's what makes them the same. They're not opposite. But I put before you life and death. What what were you commanded to do? Now, you're not forced to do it. It just says, I put before you life and death. Choose. Choose life, it says. Choose life. Why? Because life, like the symbiote, will feed you. Life, like the symbiote, gives you ideas. It just trades with you. It nourishes the host. Now, why would it nourish the host? Because when it nourishes the host, it nourishes itself. So it is in the symbiote's best interest to keep the host alive, but not barely alive. Alive in such a way that they both thrive. That is what your vision, and that is what your dream, and that is what your desire does to you. Every day, all day. You just have to believe that it is possible. The very fact that you can imagine it makes it possible. Why? Because if you can see it, you can recreate it. If you cannot see it, it is empty. You can do nothing with emptiness. As within, so without. So as long as you can see it in your mind's eye, if you can see the house in your mind's eye, if you can see the car in your mind's eye, if you can see the relationship in your mind's eye, if you can see the money in your mind's eye, then it is possible. It is a blueprint. It is a stencil. If you do art, you know what a stencil is. A stencil shows you the shape and you trace it, and there you recreated the shape of the stencil. Your dream is the stencil. So you have to believe that it is real. And that is what will fuel you in a symbiotic relationship, and thereby the mood that it puts you in, the mood that your vision and your dream puts you in, is what feeds you. But recognize the difference between the symbiote and the parasite. The parasite will have you crawling on the ground in the desert with sand in your mouth. Water! Water! It will suck the life out of you because you don't think it is possible. That is what turns your symbiote into a parasite. Your belief in its reality. So you don't have to figure out how you are going to make it happen. Become clear about what you want to happen. What do you want to experience? Go with that. You want carrots? Plant carrots. That's how you'll get carrots. By planting carrots. You can't plant carrots and tell me you want peas. You must believe in your vision. To believe in your vision means to know that if I can see it, I can be it. Oh, that seems cliche. It seems cliche. But ask the seamstress. Man, I wish Bree, call her out of the ether. Bree is a lovely young lady on Twitter. No, TikTok. She had this curtain hanging on her window. She had these curtains hanging up on her window, and she looked at them and she saw a dress. My girl took the curtains down and made the dress. I was like, "What kind of witchcraft is this?" It's not witchcraft. She saw the curtain hanging at the window, but she saw in her mind's eye the dress draped on her body. She did not see curtains. She had a vision. So she cut out the pattern from her mind's eye because that's where the dress was, in her mind's eye. So she knew the dress to be there. She did not have to dance naked in the moonlight to make the dress real. She saw it. So to believe means to know that the image in your mind, you can recreate it in the real world. And that is what she did. And I've loved her since that day. Oh, yeah. She put wallpaper on her counters just because she likes the way the sun hits it. And I was like, whew, what an imagination. That's just the way she is. But we are all the same in the fact that we all generate an idea. That is why we are the same. We generate the idea. And today, whatever that thing is that you've got, it no longer has to be a parasite. Transmute it, my beautiful friends, into a symbiote by simply knowing that as long as I have the image, like the bat signal, I can draw it. I can trace the bat signal. You have to know that. Let me get the chime, because I know we all gotta go to work. And when you hear the chime this morning, use your belief in the reality of your vision and recognize that it is not your job. All you have to do is plant the seed and it grows. Fertilize the egg, it hatches. Yes? Impregnate, we give birth. Okay? I don't know if he's going to sing yet this morning, but recognize. Listen, my baby is always right on time. He's always right on time. I love you, baby. Chime and chicken. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I thank each and every one of you for being here today and spending this hour with me. Oh, I cannot believe I hollered at y'all for an hour. Oh my God. Anyway, I thank you for that and being here and spending time. But most importantly, apply what we have learned. Now, the workshop is on Saturday. It is still 2 for 1. You can bring a friend. And we go live Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a live Q&A. So whatever your problem is that you think, bring it, and we'll sort out why you're stuck. Don't you fret. We'll get it sorted out for you and show you what to do. Yes? Anywho, the link, of course, wherever you are, whatever platform you're on, the link is easily accessible to you. It is under the video for YouTube, Facebook, and maybe TikTok. I don't know. But it is on TikTok though. Twitter, it's on my timeline. Fanbase, it's on the space above you. Yes, handsome. I can hear you, baby. I can hear you. So, anywho, thank you all. And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Don't wait till Saturday. Good Lord, I got to send you the link. Hello? So help a sister out and be on. Just tell me what you want to do, and if you want it to be anonymous or not. But I've got to send out the link so you guys can attend, okay? Because it is, and then just let me know. But I've got to be able to send you the link on time, okay? Anywho, I will see you on the morrow. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Fanbase, and Twitter. Me and Lil Bit and Lady, we will be. Lady don't make noise like that. No, her noise is different. Clack, 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 clack. That's her noise. But you know what? I digress. I digress. Okay, you leave my lady alone. She is beautiful in her own way. She's just quieter than he is. So I'll see you in the morning, y'all. It's fan base, you know we always end with you. So stick around and kick it with us for a few more minutes. Peace out. It's symmetric. I see you. Peace out. Twitter is closed. YouTube, peace.